Our mission at Investment Mastery is to help as many people around the world create financial freedom for themselves and their families. That bit I added after I had my children, through financial education. And that's what we do at Investment Mastery. There was definitely a time in my life when I was literally on the floor. I was living on my brother's floor for 6 months, sleeping in a sleeping bag, and it was the lowest point of my financial life. And I woke up one day and I realized that the thinking, or the lack of thinking, that I had at the time got me into that situation. So I had to totally change to get me out of that situation. I basically had no financial education at all previous to that point. And that's why I started going to seminars, workshops, crewing events if I couldn't afford it, reading a lot of books, some of which I don't think I've given back, but home study courses and anything that I could to surround myself with wealthy thinking. And it worked. Well, now we are in a situation where we have several quite substantial income streams. Some of them are residual, some of them are passive. I have a team of traders that trade my money for me on a daily basis. We actually trade other people's money. We have several businesses. Mudrika runs our property portfolio. It's just totally different to that situation. And you know, I sometimes have to laugh because I was the guy with the long hair and the beard. I still have some of it left here. And yeah, just focusing on it. I just wasn't focusing on it before. And that's all it takes, really.
So before running Investment Mastery, I had a chain of salons. It was always my dream to have my own business. As a child, I grew up being told that the women stay at home and they work, and the tradition, that was the tradition. And I always remember my father and my brother having very successful businesses. So it was kind of in my blood, but women didn't do that. So I always remember, you know, when I went to my first personal development seminar, and it was, oh, I can actually do this. And for me, that was such an enlightenment that I could actually do it. So I had to undo a fair bit of programming that I'd had, that I can't do that, it's not what I do. So after that, I decided that I'd have a chain of salons, which was always my dream. I always wanted to do that, and opened 3 salons in the space of 6 months. So took massive action and really went for it. Yeah, so that was something I did. I had a business since I was 20. I did bridal hair and makeup. So I think I'd always had an entrepreneurial side to me, which I was kind of always exploring and looking at. And you know, so 3 salons in 6 months I thought was pretty kick-ass.
Okay, so the way that I juggle all these things is by very heavily leaning on Mudrika. She is so organized. I don't know whether it's a natural thing or whether you're one of those people who, you don't just talk about it, you just do it. So we always tell people, you know, gotta get a coach. You've got a coach. You know, so a lot of people tell other people what to do, but you really just do walk the talk, and you do delegate, and just makes my life just so much easier. One of the things is that I'm not normally there at the weekend, but I'm there all week. So I make sure that I'm there in the morning with the kids. First thing, I used to be waking up very, very late. I've now changed that, so I wake up early. Mudrika is totally surprised when I'm actually awake ahead of her. So the kids, they're kind of daddy first, and we have some time together in the morning, and I'm always there for dinner as well. That's my thing. That's my kind of Italian background. You know, I've got to be there for the food, you know, and I love that during the week. So that's very important.
A lot of techniques that I've learned over the years about time management, about personal development, mastering my own emotions. So a lot of that has been about kind of bringing that all together, and always knowing that it evolves, and you've got to evolve, and you've got to learn, and you've got to get a coach, and you've got to get a mentor in whatever area of your life you're currently going through. So the way I juggle it is being very organized. I delegate a lot. I have an amazing team. You know, I have an EA, a PA to a PA. So I just do a lot of organizing. I delegate. My kids and family always come first, so they're always my top value, my top priority. Everything else just runs around it. And I think it's just about being organized and delegating things that I don't really need to do.
So what drives me? It's funny. There was a book that I read many years ago by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and he describes 5 stages. You know, the first stage is like, oh, can I? And there's no real form to it. The second stage is, could I? And then you know what you want and why you want it. And if you just keep going, you go through stage 3, 4, and 5. And exactly how he describes it is what actually happens. So as you fan the flame of your desire by knowing what you want, but also why you want it. And it's the why you want it. That's what most people miss. I mean, most people don't know what they want, right? But even the ones that do know what they want, they don't actually know why they want it. So I was fanning that for a long time. And that's the mission, to help as many people around the world create financial freedom for themselves and their families through financial education. And then it just has a momentum of its own. Like I couldn't imagine not doing it. I just couldn't imagine. Somebody said to me, well, if you're so successful or whatever, you know, rich or whatever, he said, you know, then why don't you, you know, play golf all day? And, you know, I kind of went, why would I do that? But anyway, so I replied to him and I said, so now I understand what you would do when you are wealthier, successful, but that's not what I want to do. Remember that when I was, you know, at the bottom, there were some people who helped me. They taught me. And if it wasn't for those people, well, I'd probably be in the same situation right now. So, I mean, this is something that my mentor, T. Harv Eker, taught me as well, which is, you know, when you get to a certain stage, it is much easier to lift people to where you are. A lot of people right now are not at that level and they're trying to push and help other people up. It's difficult. It's really tough to do that. But when you're at the top, you can actually lift a lot of people up. It's much, much simpler to do because you know what to do. And you have that confidence, and you know that's what people want. They want to be surrounded by people who can say, you can do this. Trust me, you can do this. I know.
So what still drives me is, I remember going on my first personal development seminar, which was a Tony Robbins seminar, and I remember doing what is my purpose? And my purpose was to really be the best that I could be and to inspire everyone around me by being me, you know. So it was always having that really amazing standard of myself that people go, wow, she's an amazing mother, sister, daughter, you know, boss. And I think that's always what's driven me, because I'm always looking at how can I be the best that I can be. So it's a standard that I have of myself. And as life has changed, I became a wife. So how can I be the best wife? And then I became a mum. So how can I be the best mum? And it's always about me being a role model to others. So I think that's always kept me to my purpose, which is what can I do next? And, you know, one of my big values is growth and contribution. So if I'm always looking to grow, I'm always looking to have a new challenge or a new thing like that. And I feel that even to this day, there's still so much that I want to do to inspire other people. So I think it's that ability to inspire people by just being me is what drives me.
The best thing about being financially free? Do you know, that is a really good question. For me, you know, I don't really think about, you know, being financially free, because I'm always looking to get to the next stage, to improve. You know, the workshop that we have, we tweak it all the time. You know, we're always looking to make it a little bit better. You know, listening to feedback, and so it's just a result of something that we've been doing. I don't much think about it. I don't spend a lot of money. I honestly, I have money in my account that I can't even. I can't even spend it. It's not something I really think about much, really.
For me, the great thing about being financially independent is choice. I love luxury things. I love shopping. I love all the things that women love to do. So for me, it is very much about having the choice of being able to do that, and I've seen that various different ways in my life. I've seen it as things I've wanted to have, which is quite materialistic, but at the same time, I'm very spiritual. So I think being financially free gives you the freedom to go, if someone wants a donation, you just go, oh yeah, I'll do that, no problem. It's not how much shall I do, it's like how much do you need? And that's a lovely feeling of being able to do that and give that. Also, my loved ones, my family, my children, if they want something, there's no, for me, that choice, that freedom of, yeah, of course they can have piano lessons, of course they can have guitar lessons. Oh, after 2 years they don't want to do it. It's not great, but it's that choice that I can afford to do that, and to have nice holidays, have freedom to do what we want.
That is nice. That. Yeah. Thinking about it, that is pretty nice. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there were times when I remember one of our promoters in one of the Scandinavian countries went bankrupt, owing us a lot of money. In fact, they owed us money. And so I said, oh, don't worry, I'll just help you out and we'll do some more, and made them more money. And then they wouldn't pay again. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? You go, oh, I've done it for something else so that we can make even more money, and then went bust. And there have been lots of things like that. But actually really thinking about really giving it up, I mean, personally, I never really thought about it. No, because that's our mission. So even if it would be a slightly different business, I think we would still keep going, just helping people maybe in a different way. But never really seriously thought about giving it up now. I want to be remembered for somebody who just adds a lot of value to people. That's my number one thing, is adding value. My number one value is integrity. So if I can be remembered for something around that would be great. The ripple effect, you just don't know. I've had people in the audience on a wealth creation seminar who literally came to me afterwards and said, thank you so much. And I'm like, no, you're okay, fine. They said, no, you don't understand. I go, okay, no, I do, but thank you, And they said, no, you don't understand. And I said, well, what? And they said, I was going to kill myself last night. And because of that one exercise that you did, I thought, oh my goodness, stepped away from the brink. And that's just somebody who told me. What about all the people that haven't? And the ripple effect, you don't know. So one of the things that we do gratitude, thanking for the things that haven't happened yet that we're attracting into our lives. So attracting the future into the present. And one of them is, we give thanks for, the millions of people whose life that we've changed in a positive way. And I don't know whether I'm going to directly affect 1 million people, but through the ripple effect. And to be honest, that's good enough for me.
I'm a big fan of the ripple effect. I really feel that Marcus does a lot of the teaching and the education, so that's not what I'm necessarily doing within the business, but I know that by being that force behind him, it allows him to go to countries over the weekends and go and do the mission for us. But a big thing that sort of strikes me, or for me, a big thing is also the team. The people around me, the clients that I do see, that I've made some small impact to their life, that one day they'll go, do you remember? I remember Mudrika doing that. Mudrika said that, and that stuck with me. Because I've had many mentors and coaches in my life that I go, actually, if it was that person, what would they do right now? What would they have told me to do? How would I deal with this situation? And I'd love to be remembered for that. I'd love to be remembered for that little thing that made the difference in their life, but it's not something that they'll always think of. But I'd love to have made that impact in the world as a ripple effect.
The one thing that I really love about investment mastery and the education is when you see somebody get it, when you see it in their eyes. I tell you, you can't. It's a feeling, and there's many reasons why we do investment mastery. There's not just one or two, but that keeps reminding me, when people, they get it. We've always, right from the beginning, and as far as I can remember, even at school, always gone back to teach people who are either beginners or, well, basically beginners, because they get taken advantage of the most, and they have the most questions. And it's tough, because they ask question upon question upon question. But you know what? I don't know whether it's kind of masochistic or what. We love it. We love it. When people ask that question, it's a privilege. I didn't used to think so, but it's a privilege to be able to answer those questions. The fact that they trust you enough to open up, and in front of, we have small groups, but still, in front of 20 other people, and when they get it, and when you see the results, that is something that's a big reason why we do it. That's what I love about investment mastery.
I would say that it is possible. Anyone can do it. We're not superhuman. We're just normal people that just found the education. We wanted it enough, and we found the right people to be around. And I think that's really important, is who you surround yourself with is very important. And if you can just find that one person or those two people that you hang out with and spend your time with, different to the people you currently spend your time with, that would be the key thing that I would say will make the difference. But anyone can do it if you have the will and the wantingness to have a change, to make a change. You can do it.
Wow, I think that was a pretty good answer. I think that, just to add to that, it's never give up. You just don't know who is around the corner or what is around the corner. You could meet the right person and everything can change, but you must never ever quit. And I think that would be my main message, is that you can do this, and just one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. One thing that Tony Robbins, who's somebody I admire tremendously because he changed my life. Back in 1999, when I went on his seminar, I was down and out, and it just changed everything for me. I literally, after that seminar, I quit my job the next day. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have a clue. But what he says is, people always overestimate what they can do in the short term. I'm going to be financially free this time next month. But they totally underestimate what they can do in the long term, over 1 or 2 years. For me to get from 100,000 in debt to being financially independent and financially free was not overnight. It just wasn't, it just wasn't. It took years to do. But I tell you what, it doesn't take many years. It doesn't take many years. And you look back and you just wonder what you have achieved. But then you continue, and it just really has that compounding effect. It's not just about stocks and shares and money, but in every part of your life, putting on muscle, losing weight, that compounding effect really does work. So my message for people out there is never give up. That would be my message to you.